Okay, I think we'll start. Well, welcome to our webinar about public internet services. My name is John Barker. I'm with the consulting company Internet Technology Answers, and also with a company called Fireforce Systems that manufactures a range of products that includes brands like Guest Internet and Orthonet. And in fact, I'll mention a few Guest Internet products as we go through this presentation. If anyone has any questions while I'm speaking, please pop them in the chat box and we'll go through them at the end. And if anyone wants to raise a question when we finish, you can unmute your mic and we can have a chat. Okay, so let's get started. I divided this presentation into 4 sections. First of all, who needs public internet? Then, what are the business use cases for public internet? The technologies that are used to deliver public internet, and then a short summary of the presentation. Now, you're probably going to be surprised how many types of businesses provide internet service for visitors. You're probably familiar that caravan parks need to provide internet because people need something to do on a rainy day. But the list is long. And in fact, we divided the list into 3 sections. We have the free internet services, the partially paid internet services, and the paid internet services. The free, obviously, motels, hotels, resorts, retail, schools, gyms, hair salon, airport, restaurants, coffee bars, medical waiting rooms is one area. Churches now provide free internet. Municipal offices, libraries, shopping malls, apartment buildings, sports events, auto dealership. I'd ran out of space, so I couldn't add any more, but there are many more types of businesses that provide internet. Partially paid. Well, this is something that some businesses do. Hotels, for example, might provide a slow speed internet and then charge for high speed internet using online credit card payments. Airports, certainly, we have a lot of airport customers, and they have a preference of giving a short free period of access and then charging at hourly rates. We have trade show customers as well who have 3 different types of clients: the administration who need internet access, booths. The companies that have booths get internet access as part of the deal, and then visitors may be free or maybe charged for the internet access. We have Wi-Fi on aircraft. Some frequent travelers get the free service. Some have to pay maybe $10 a flight. Other areas such as student accommodation and multi-unit buildings. Well, we have condo customers who the condo association provides internet for the people who live in the condos, but it's actually paid for out of the condo fee. And we have paid Wi-Fi internet services. We have subscription providers. If you go to an airport, you'll find that names like Boingo charge a monthly subscription, and you can connect to the internet using their credentials. We have mobile broadband providers, businesses that provide a type of Wi-Fi service that they charge for. Internet cafes, if you travel around places like Latin America or Africa, you'll see these are pretty common. It's a store where you go to get internet access. There are other places. Marinas generally charge for the Wi-Fi because there's no 5G coverage. Campgrounds, RV parks, caravan parks generally charge for the Wi-Fi service. Once again, there's no 5G in those areas. And I mentioned aircraft Wi-Fi, cruise ships. If you go cruising, you're going to pay for the internet on the cruise ship. So you can see there's a lot of different applications, and really the situation is that not many of those applications are very well implemented. How many of you have been to a hotel and complained about the Wi-Fi service, for example? how many have been on a cruise ship and complained about the Wi-Fi service? It's pretty popular. If you look at hotel reviews, you'll see people tend to criticize the Wi-Fi service before they criticize the clean linens or the food. And so it's important for people. And a lot of businesses could get much better reviews in social media by improving the performance of the service they offer. And that's what this is all about, providing a better service for the public. Well, what are the characteristics? We know that we're not going to encrypt the hotspot Wi-Fi signal because there's really no point. If anyone is going to connect to it, then you're going to have to give the encryption key to anyone who asks. So we really need to encrypt it. It's considered unsafe, especially by Apple Computers Corporation. Their devices ask you twice if you're going to connect to an unencrypted Wi-Fi network, and unfortunately, it's not safe. Anyone with a sniffer software can capture packets and maybe collect passwords, that type of thing. But we have to use public Wi-Fi in many situations. If we're traveling, especially traveling internationally, well, our phones don't have a roaming service, so Wi-Fi is the only option available. I find that. Wilderness campgrounds, locations that are way outside the coverage of 5G towers. There's still a lot of places, even in the UK. I mean, the US is vast, and so you can imagine a lot of the US doesn't have coverage from 5G towers. Even in the UK, there are places where there's no adequate coverage, like Wales, for example. And so Wi-Fi is essential for these areas. We have a lot of business customers, small business customers who install Wi-Fi. There's an example here: motel chains, fast food chains, campground chains. All these businesses provide Wi-Fi for their customers, and customers look for that. There are a lot of other businesses that I haven't included here, like gyms and hair salons, that type of business that also provide Wi-Fi. I mentioned about subscription providers. There are quite a few businesses that sell you a monthly subscription and give you a credential that you can use to log in at specific locations like international airports. Boingo is one of those that's very popular. And there are several others for on-board internet on flights, for example. There's a few there, but there are actually more subscription providers than what I've listed there. Now, what we can do is divide the customer segment. These are the people who are installing Wi-Fi into 4 areas. At the bottom left, we have the segment that you know very well, I think. Business Wi-Fi internet hotspots. That's the motels, hotels that are installing Wi-Fi for the customers, the gyms, that type of business. They'll buy a product, install it, and give the customers Wi-Fi. Above that, top left, we have managed service providers. Now, we have a lot of customers who actually provide a Wi-Fi service for groups of businesses, and these are typically for motels where one company will be specialized in providing the service. What does that mean? That means that the motel owner or manager doesn't have to get involved in Wi-Fi. A managed service provider provides the services, manages it remotely, deals with customer support issues, or if there's any failure, it repairs the failures, and charges the business a monthly fee for that. This is also popular with campgrounds and RV parks as well, where they don't want to get involved with the technology, and so they outsource it. The bottom right is the systems integrators. Now, I'll talk about these a little bit later. These are businesses that develop and sell software and their software needs a component, a Wi-Fi component. Hotels, for example, the property management systems in hotels can interface with the Wi-Fi to give the guest a seamless login experience. Top right, ISPs and community services that offer Wi-Fi. This is popular in parts of the world like Latin America, Caribbean, Africa, Asia. We have customers who set up businesses to provide Wi-Fi internet for mobile devices because there's no alternative. There's not coverage. Maybe the mobile phone towers are still on 3G. There's no access to a DSL type of circuit. Maybe these people are out in the rural areas, and so they can set up a network of Wi-Fi hotspots in order to provide internet service to mobile devices, and they charge for that service. It's probably different to a WISP service, wireless internet service provider, which is a sort of subscription service. A customer would sign up and pay a monthly subscription. These types of customers are not subscribers. They are people who purchase maybe a week of access or 2 weeks of access to the internet and then use that sparingly. So a little bit of detail, the business Wi-Fi hotspots. In the smaller installations, they can install a wireless product which provides the login page and can also provide any type of access control. And this is the motels, gyms, libraries. Libraries a big customer for this type of service. It's very important that we have a firewall in this hotspot product, because if not, then anyone connecting to the wireless hotspot is going to be able to get access to the business computers behind the hotspot, and we don't want hackers getting into our system. And so the firewall is essential. For larger businesses, then we would install gateway products and have multiple wireless access points connecting to those gateway products. Typically, a hotel, if it's got 100 rooms, might have 20 wireless access points to provide service. And so those are connected back to the gateway product. The gateway product also has more features than the basic wireless product, because the businesses are looking for example, multi-use wireless networks, so they need VLAN management, multi-tier login, maybe with credit card billing, multi-WAN to improve the reliability, cloud management for managed service providers, APIs to integrate with third-party software vendors, and of course the firewall in order to be compliant with requirements such as PCI DSS, the payment card industry data security standard. Managed service providers, I mentioned that they will provide services, Wi-Fi hotspot services to hotels, to campgrounds. The managed service providers probably provide a broader range of services that might include cameras, video, that type of thing. And their customers will be hospitality, maybe groups of motels, vacation locations, RV parks, caravan parks, maybe even airports. The airports would outsource the service to a managed service provider. And the essential tool for managed service providers is the cloud management service. They're not going to be on site. They're going to manage the site remotely. They want to monitor the site for failure and take action if a failure occurs. And they want to be able to obtain statistics of use. They want to know when the busy periods are, when they need to increase the capacity of the internet circuits, that type of thing. And so they may need an API, application program interface, to integrate with some of the software they use for monitoring systems. So that's also an important feature. I mentioned the cloud service. cloud management systems like the guest internet permit the managed service provider to create groups. And so if they have several customers who each have multiple sites, then you can create a group for each customer, put the multiple sites in each group, and it makes management of their customers very easy for them. Systems integrators, a very popular type of systems integration is the property management system in a hotel. Every hotel has a property management system. And this allows the hotel to provide a very seamless experience for the guest. The guest checks in, the guest gets the room key, the guest gets the code for the wireless, and everything works fine. When the guest checks out, then the code is removed for the wireless. So there are other types of applications where we would want systems integrators to integrate with the Wi-Fi management system using the application programming interface. So their applications include, for example, campground reservation systems or RV park reservation systems, where someone would book the caravan online, maybe get the access code to the caravan site and also the code for the internet as part of the package. The systems integrators require an API to be able to interface with the Wi-Fi system. The systems such as guest internet provide two types of APIs. One at the level of the equipment, whereby a local server can communicate with the gateway equipment and set access codes and delete access codes. There's also an API at the cloud level, where, for example, a company that's selling software for caravan park reservations might have 500 caravan parks. And so they would want to be able to provide a code for the caravan park that the customer has chosen. And so they would do this through the cloud API that provides many more resources for them to do that. And once again, it provides a seamless system. The customer makes the reservation and gets all the information that customer needs in order to go and enjoy a vacation. The hotel management can decide exactly how they want to implement the guest Wi-Fi as part of the property management system. One system which is very popular, used by Hilton hotels, the property management system generates the access code, and this might be the room number plus the first three letters of the guest name. Sends this access code to the hotspot gateway to activate that access code. This is at the point of check-in. Then that code will be given to the guest to use the Wi-Fi. When the guest checks out, the property management system will send that code over to the Wi-Fi gateway in order to disable the code, remove the code. And so if you go to a Hilton, for example, this is what happens. You get the Wi-Fi code when you check in. As soon as you get the code, it's available for use. And the moment you check out, you no longer have access to the Wi-Fi. The very popular property management system is Oracle. It used to be called the Opera system, and now they call it the hospitality, Oracle hospitality system. They provide, this system provides APIs for a number of different applications, including the API for the guest internet system. And so that's part of the software platform. We see a lot of Oracle systems because they're used in about 50% of the hotels worldwide. So they're very, very popular software, not the cheapest. It's quite expensive software, but it really has every type of feature that a hotel will need to manage the business. And we're not talking about only guest check-in. This type of software has inventory management, staffing, scheduling, that type of thing. So it's got a lot of features to manage the business. ISP and community services. Well, I mentioned this a few minutes ago. These are companies that provide a Wi-Fi service for communities where there really is no alternative. And we see this a lot in rural areas around the world, not necessarily in the United States and Europe, but outside those areas. It's very common to have a rural area where there's absolutely no type of internet service. And so entrepreneurs set up wireless systems, and this can be either point to multi-point to a mobile device, or it can be a fixed broadband to an antenna placed on a home. And generally the customers for these types of services are not subscribers. They're paying for a services they wanted. I'll give you an example how this works. Johannesburg, South Africa, a supermarket chain provides Wi-Fi and sells a voucher for the Wi-Fi access. So when somebody goes to the supermarket, they can buy a voucher, they can access the Wi-Fi, check their emails, and they have to do that because there's no other service available. Or if there is another service available, it costs so much money that it's out of the question. And so there are a lot of places around the world who are using this type of service. And it corresponds to the fixed wireless access, the 5G service that telcos provide in Europe and North America. There are new standards. There's 802.11u, which is a cellular Wi-Fi network standard, and the tendency is for a lot of companies that manufacture wireless products to adopt this standard. And what this gives us is the ability to set up a network with roaming. So we can set up wireless towers in various locations through a village or a town. Each one can be maybe connected to a different ISP. The business would maybe print vouchers and sell the vouchers. A voucher might give a day of internet access or a week of internet access. And the person can then connect with a mobile device to one tower, and once connected, stays connected as that person moves through a network of towers. And so it's very similar to the mobile networks that we use today with our mobile phones, except it's a much cheaper service. It's not a subscription service. It's a kind of a pay-as-you-go, and not as pay-as-you-go as we know of with the mobile phones. It's you purchase a voucher for a limited time period. Once again, in communities where there is no service, this is marvelous. It might not be the best type of service, but it's very cheap to set up. It provides internet connectivity at specific locations. And for those people who have no access to the internet, this is marvelous. So what are the desirable characteristics for a public internet service? I prepared a list, and we can go through them one by one. It's got to be simple to install and intuitive. Not everyone has advanced networking skills. A lot of the products that Guest Internet makes are installed by hotel managers, so they have to be easy to install. It's got to work with any other type of Wi-Fi equipment and network equipment. You need several methods to authenticate users, maybe from simple to more sophisticated methods. We want a firewall. I mentioned that, very important to make sure that whatever network we're connecting to is not providing access for those using the public Wi-Fi. We want to be able to monitor the equipment for failure and get an alert, probably via email, because one thing about providing a Wi-Fi service for the public, if it breaks, then you're going to know about it very quickly, because the public are going to call you, and not one, but many people are going to call complaining. And so it's very important that you know about any failure before the user does, and you can go there and fix it, and so the downtime is minimized. We want multi-WAN with load balance and failover. The weakest link in our network is the WAN, the connection to the internet. And so we'd like to have multi-WAN. And these days it's easier. A few years ago, we only had one DSL, and that was all the option we had. Now we can work with a fiber vendor, we can work with a fixed wireless access, a 5G vendor, and so we have multiple opportunities to connect to the internet. We want port forwarding, for example, very important for managed service providers who might want to get access to devices on the LAN side and change the configuration of those devices. We'd like to have multi-segmented networks so that we can set up VLANs and have a multi-purpose wireless network where we have several different types of users who are isolated in that network. And then we need the cloud service for remote configuration, support, monitoring, and reporting, essential for managed service providers. So basic things are login page customization. We want to be able to either just have a very simple login page that's generated automatically, or we want the ability to create a fully customized login page. Now, this is easy with products like Guest Internet, not so easy with products like Ubiquiti, Unify, for example. And if you start using MikroTik routers, very difficult to provide this type of configuration. But our customers want it. They want to customize the login experience. They want to be able to promote maybe products or services through the website. And so it's essential we have these login pages. We want several different authentication methods, as I mentioned, maybe a very simple method where the user just agrees to the terms and conditions, maybe not even having a login page, for example, in a condo where the property owners get internet service from the condo, the condominium administration, then they don't even need the login page, but they do need to be able to manage each of the users, make sure that the bandwidth is shared between the users, and put firewalls in to avoid bad things happening. Maybe we're going to have a situation where we're going to sell the service online. Maybe we're going to have a multi-tier system where we provide something for free and charge for something. So maybe we're going to gather contact information. Maybe we're going to allow access based on MAC addresses. So we have a lot of different methods that we'd like to use, and each business has a different requirement. So as long as we have the flexibility in the product, that's great. Products like Guest Internet have this flexibility. Products like Ubiquiti do not have this flexibility. We want to be able to share one internet connection between many users, which means setting speed limits on users. We don't want the situation where somebody's downloading a huge file or uploading a huge file at the detriment of the users. We don't want situations where, a few users are streaming Netflix at a high speed and causing the internet to be slow for everyone else. And so we want to be able to share the limited bandwidth between a number of different users. Once again, if you've been to a hotel and the internet service sucks, you know exactly what the cause is. It's inefficient sharing of a limited resource between many people. So internet redundancy is very important. The weakest link, as I mentioned, is the connection to the internet. And we would like multiple types of circuits and be able to share our connection over those circuits, get the total bandwidth so that we get a faster service for our customers. And if one service fails, then we can switch over all the customers to the service that's working, hopefully seamlessly without interrupting them. Today we have many more options. DSL is on its way out, but we have fiber connections. We have 5G connections, fixed wireless access. I know Solwise have a lot of products for 5G connections. We have WISP point-to-point, which is also, I know in the UK, big as well as in North America. And we have satellite services. We see customers using Starlink in the UK as a backhaul connection to the internet. Maybe it's the second connection to a load balance router. So today we're very, very fortunate to have the choice of options to connect to the internet, but we do need two circuits from two different providers. It's no use having two circuits from the same provider, because if one circuit fails, the other one will fail. Somebody dug up a cable in the street, for example. Dual use or multiple use Wi-Fi networks is also important for businesses that offer Wi-Fi to the public. Many hotels install two wireless networks, one for guests and one for the staff, because staff who are working inside the hotels have mobile devices that need to update, for example, when they change rooms, to update the contents of the refrigerator, what have you. We can actually provide independent services for guests and staff using the same wireless access points. For example, Ubiquiti wireless access points, you can set up multiple SSIDs. You can set up each SSID with a VLAN, and that allows you to set up an unencrypted service for guests, an encrypted service for staff, whereby the guests are connected to the gateway, see the login page, and the firewall isolates them from the hotel network. On the other hand, staff pass through the gateway to the back office network and are able to access applications on the back office network for housekeeping or other types of applications. So this saves hotels a lot of money, and not many hotels are aware. And if anyone on the call here is provides services for hotels, you can provide them with this type of solution, which will save them a lot of money. Multi-level login. If you've been to an international airport, you'll know that when you want to use the Wi-Fi, as we all do, to check on flights or whatever, there are login options. Well, one of the options that Guest Internet provides for airports, for example, is a free limited time login with limited speed, for example, 30 minutes at a 1 megabit speed. And then after that, the customer can buy internet access in increments of 1 hour or 4 hours or 1 day. And if that visitor has a credential for one of the mobile services like Boingo, that visitor can enter that credential and get internet access to the subscription service of Boingo. So this is an example of multi-level type logins, where you provide a service with different methods of connection depending on how the customer wants to use it. Airports, Wi-Fi is essential. If you're traveling internationally, as we all do, we get to our destination, our phones are not working because obviously we don't have a roaming agreement, and so we need Wi-Fi to be able to contact whoever is going to pick us up or find out about the taxi service, that type of thing. Temporary events. This is actually quite a big business in the USA. I don't know about the UK, but there are businesses set up just to provide Wi-Fi for temporary events, where it might be a music event on Miami Beach. It might be an event in a campground. It might be a fashion show put on by some big retailer. There are many different types of events. Businesses have the kit ready to go to the event and provide the service. It could be that a lot of locations have 5G coverage. Other locations don't have good 5G coverage. And so the organizers, in order to ensure that the guests are satisfied with the services, they'll bring in, even with 5G coverage, they'll bring in a firm that provides Wi-Fi access, just to ensure that the guests are able to do it. If it's, for example, a fashion show, which might be on Miami Beach, they know that the people going there want to take photos, want to upload them to social media. Very important. So many events, it's a big advantage for the event organizer to have a good internet connection, because they're going to get advertising through social media because people are uploading selfies or uploading photos of the event. So we have to remember that Wi-Fi for events pays for itself, because you're going to get the benefit in social media advertising for your event. Monitoring devices for failure. I mentioned the ability to monitor devices. If a wireless access point fails, you don't know it just failed. All you know is that your computer's maybe getting slow connecting. The internet connection is slow, and the reason is because one device fails, your computer switches over to another wireless access point further away, more people connecting to the wireless access point. Internet service is slow, people complain, and we really don't know if a wireless access point has failed unless we monitor it. And so we've got to set up monitoring for wireless access points, for gateways, every component in the chain. And we want to send out an alert message for this. And if something does fail, we want to be able to go there and make it work again before the customers start complaining, because we know the customers will complain. If you're a hotel manager and the hotel Wi-Fi stops working, you know that you're going to get a lot of calls from angry guests who need to use the Wi-Fi. And so this is very important. I mentioned the firewall. This is actually a requirement if you have a point of sale terminal and you're charging credit cards. That credit card information is in the point of sale terminal. If your business puts a simple wireless access point to provide visitors with access to the internet, then those visitors can access the point of sale terminal and steal the credit card information. Now, you don't have to have a person go to the site to steal the credit card information. A lot of devices are compromised with a Trojan virus, and so somebody sitting in China is going to have access to that point of sale once the guest connects. And so we need to install a firewall. And so a gateway product, a Wi-Fi gateway product, will have this firewall that blocks access to our point of sale terminal. There are internet cafe point of sale systems. If you ever traveled around Latin America, Africa, you'll know that if you need an internet connection, you can go to an internet cafe. You can sit at a computer and check your email, or else you can connect your mobile device to the Wi-Fi that doesn't work because you don't have a roaming agreement, and you can get internet access. So products like the Guest Internet have the software for the point of sale. You hook up a printer like the one shown here. You can connect a cash drawer to the back of the printer. You set up a tablet with up to 10 buttons, so the buttons can determine the duration and the speed of access, and the visitor can access through one of the wired computers or through the visitor's own mobile device. And it's a method, a business to make money in areas where the access to the internet is limited. If you're like me, you enjoy traveling, you go to Cusco or Machu Picchu, wonderful places like that, then if you want internet access to check your email, you go to an internet cafe, because that's how it's done. Maybe the hotel has Wi-Fi, but once you're out of the hotel, then the only way is look for an internet cafe, and they're very, very common all over the place. Selling internet with vouchers. I mentioned about the mobile types of service. One of the methods is to actually print off vouchers and sell the vouchers. In fact, this is actually a method. They call it in Latin American Spanish, they call it internet por ficha, because it's so common. And not everyone can afford a subscription to an ISP. Not everybody has access to an ISP. And so these systems are a much cheaper method of providing internet access, maybe $1 a day through a mobile phone. And so people work with what they've got. this is a very popular method. As I said, it has its own name. So if you Google that internet feature, you'll see that there are a lot of businesses and a lot of providers. So a quick summary of the applications: public internet applications, business hotspots versus managed Wi-Fi. What are the businesses looking for? Well, they want to provide a Wi-Fi service for guests and visitors, and they have a number of requirements. They may want an open access Wi-Fi that anyone connect to. They may want a customized login page. They may want to issue access codes and maybe even charge for the service. And there are three products that are popular for this: guest internet that I mentioned, Ubiquiti Unify, and MikroTik routers are all used for this. The larger businesses, the hotels, resorts, casinos, that type of location, they're looking for services much above the business hotspot. For example, cloud management. They want remote vendor support. They want an API for integration with their systems. They want to be able to monitor the reliability of their network, alert for failures, multi-WAN, that type of thing. And then there are three popular products in this segment: guest internet, nomadics, and RGNets. And once again, the business hotspots, they start at less than $100. The managed Wi-Fi in the range of $1,000 to $5,000. So here are some product examples from guest internet: Ubiquiti Unify, MikroTik. The guest internet is extremely easy to use. Does not require specialized knowledge. Hotel managers install this, so that's how easy it is. And it has a lot more features than other products on this list. Very economic to install and operate. Ubiquiti Unify is used a lot because people know this product. A lot of people have learned how to install this product. This product is not for beginners. It has a learning curve. So this is for the IT people who are installing networks in locations like hotels. And if the hotel needs to make a change, it's going to call the IT company to make that change. MikroTik is also very popular because the routers are very cheap. There are free scripts which can be downloaded that provide basic hotspot functionality. This is not for the beginner, not even for the IT guy. This is for somebody who's done the specialist training on MikroTik, learned how to script the routers and how to configure them. But there are businesses that configure MikroTik routers and sell them as hotspot controllers. So that's three of the options for the low end, the small retail, that type of thing. And this is a comparison table that I prepared. I won't go into details. You can download this presentation and look at the details. But when we look at total cost of ownership, a product like guest internet, it only has a product cost. Everything is free. And there are people who are using these products for more than 10 years. Ubiquiti, well, you have the product cost, plus you've got the cost of services. You've got to have an IT guy to configure it. Ubiquiti products tend to change very quickly, so the life is pretty short. You know, after 2 years, you're not going to be able to get the same product, and not even a firmware upgrade for the product. MikroTik, on the other hand, you've got the product cost, you've got the cost to install, and the cost to program. If you want to make a change, you've got to call a programmer, not even an IT guy, somebody who knows how to script the routers. Larger projects like guest internet, very popular with resorts, caravan parks, RV parks. The product lines are backward compatible, so these high-end products have been used more than 10 years, and the 10-year-old product can still take the latest software upgrade. Nomadics have a very interesting business model. They have agreements with big chains like Marriott, and so every Marriott hotel has to have a Nomadics installed. They provide a good service, but it costs money. There's maybe $1,000 a year plus the cost of the equipment for the maintenance service, which is obligatory. It's not an optional extra. They have a very interesting feature whereby they terminate the product after 3 years. Support is terminated and the product is remotely disconnected. So the property has to purchase a new pneumatics product every 3 years, which is a great business model for pneumatics, not so good for the hotels. There are specialists like RG Nets. They're big in casinos. They incorporate a lot of security. You can imagine casinos are very big on security, and so they've incorporated a lot of security products for casinos. Not a cheap product by any means, but does have the features that can be integrated with surveillance systems, that type of thing. So that's very good. Here's a quick review of the guest internet product range. You can see on the left-hand side the wireless products, 2 indoor products, 2 outdoor products. The indoor products suitable for small venues, retail, bars, pubs, that type of thing. The outdoor products suitable to build the Wi-Fi networks with roaming. You have the business products, small end, connect a number of wireless access points. So, for example, businesses with a larger area, motels, the R6 has dual WAN. And then we have the Pro, which has a broader range of features, great for hotels, resorts, airports, that type of application. So that's the guest internet. A quick summary: ease of use, flexibility, fast to install, easy to configure, no limit to the number of users, very easy for users to get access to the internet, so customer service is minimized. A lot of customizable options, including login pages. You can display the business information. You can provide any type of service, whether it's free, charge, partial. You can set up dual-use Wi-Fi with the VLAN configuration. A very wide range of performance products. You can build a cellular Wi-Fi networks. The cloud service is free, which is great for businesses and managed service providers. Free lifetime software upgrades, free online technical support. And then the important features: protection and control. The firewall, you can block computers with a DOS virus. You can block the use of torrent if you wish. You can set maximum data speeds and data limits to be able to share the service. You can filter websites. You can filter individual websites, block access, or block categories of websites. Monitor APs for failure, monitor the gateways for failure, and you have a range of login methods. And finally, a quick review of our consulting services. We have internet consulting services, mobile broadband technologies, management of internet services for mobile devices, fixed broadband and fixed wireless access, and then a range of cybersecurity consulting services that range from basic risk assessment up to compliance with standards like PCI DSS and IPA. So that brings me to the end of the presentation. My contact information is there if you want to contact me. So if anyone has any questions, we can go to those questions. If you want to put questions in the, let me just stop sharing and check the chat box. Then we'll see if anybody put any questions there. Let's see. Open the chat box here. Let me see if there's any questions there. If anybody wants to ask a question, just unmute your phone and go ahead and ask. I don't see any questions in the chat box. Does anyone have any questions they want to ask me about the presentation? Okay, well, my contact information is in the presentation. You're going to be able to download that from Solwise. We'll also prepare a video that you can also watch online. My contact information is there. If anyone wants to send me any questions, then please do so. I'd be very happy to help you out. So if there's no further questions, I'll thank you all for joining the presentation. It's a pleasure to do this for you. And I wish you all a great, towards end of day here, we're just starting the day, it's early morning, but I wish you all a very great end of day. And now I hope you're better prepared to solve public internet questions that people bring to you. So thanks very much, and I'll hope to see you again at the next presentation, next webinar. Okay, bye.